Biscuits and Blurays podcast, where we watch Blu-rays and the biscuit is being chased by...
Beavers.
How many beavers?
Hundreds of beavers.
This is a running thing for us this season, where we've sort of gone, oh, we'll just do this. We'll just do this. Mm-hmm. We've always added to, we've never took away.
Yes. What?
Because season 3 just keeps going on and on.
It's going on and on and on forever and ever and ever.
There'll be one thing that comes out and it'll be a big surprise, and we just feel like we have to talk about it.
We've just got to talk about it.
We were lucky enough to get a little... Well, we got sent the... We couldn't make the premiere.
No, we couldn't make the premiere for this, and we were gutted.
Yeah, well, I don't know why it was on our radar. Is this a me thing?
It's a you thing, yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. I think I am obsessed with titles. I like a good title of a film that really draws me in.
Yeah.
And this one, Hundreds of Beavers...
Yeah, it had you drawn in, didn't it, from that moment?
Straight away. And I think it was made a few years ago.
Yeah, is it 2022?
2022, but it's done a few festival circuits, and it's finally getting a release here in the UK as of the 9th of July.
Yes.
Which is next Tuesday. As of recording, it's next Tuesday, but you can get it other places.
Yes.
It's okay. But we had a showing of it.
Yes,
in our
so
living room.
We were really lucky. We were given a link to
to
preview this early,
which was very nice, and not anything we've ever done here before.
No.
But how did it turn out for you? This one.
I knew nothing about this.
Okay.
Going in, and initially watching it in the first maybe 5 to 10 minutes, I thought, oh, I'm gonna fucking hate this. This is not for me. But you know what? As it went on, I was thinking, you know what? I get this.
Okay.
And then as it got more and more into the movie, I ended up really enjoying it. You laughed and giggled all the way through it.
I am who I am. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I think we're here at the Biscuits and Blurays thingy. I'm speaking for both of us, thank you.
Do you mean podcast?
Yeah.
Biscuits and Blurays
the thingy, yeah. We are fans of Looney Tunes. And old black and white cartoons, I would argue.
Yeah.
Like Popeye and things like that. Mm-hmm. This is essentially just a live action version of a cartoon like that.
It is. It's a live action cartoon, and do you know what? It does such a great job at that.
It's directed by Mike Cheslick, and it's starring mainly this guy Ryland Brixton Cole Twos, who is one of. There's a few other characters in this.
Yeah.
But we're basically following this one guy.
Yeah, it's his story, isn't it?
Yeah. First of all, I think it's essentially a silent film. Mm-hmm. There's not any dialogue, and if there is, it's maybe a couple of words here and there.
Yeah, it's mainly just sounds, isn't it? As in reactions.
Yeah, but it's very Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton-esque, and I love that shit. I lap it up.
Yeah,
I really do. It's filmed on a budget that's very low, and we've said this before, where if a budget is low, creatively, a film can flourish.
Yeah, it can really shine with just how creative it can be. Mm-hmm. And this is no exception to that. It was so good with some of its effects.
We can't really talk about the plot of the film because it's so simple. The story of the film.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it's one that you have to sort of see.
Yeah.
So here we can't really talk about what the story is.
Well, in a basics, it's about a failed Applejack that's trying to become a beaver trapper, fur trapper. I don't know too much about it. Yeah,
he makes a big cider. He's a cider man. Everyone loves him.
An Applejack.
He's an Applejack. Is that a thing? Is it an Applejack? Okay. His Applejack career gets ruined, essentially, by beavers.
Yeah.
And he then goes out of his way for revenge, essentially.
Is it a revenge story, though?
I would argue it was.
Like, initially, is it? Does he know that because I don't think he knows at first that the beavers are the reason for the problem, because he was drunk in the opening scene.
Oh, maybe, actually, yeah. Okay, so...
It all connects.
It does all connect, yeah. But it's essentially, this film, it doesn't start with any credits. It was straight into the film.
Yeah, it's like a little musical number.
Which I thought was quite good at setting a scene.
And then we had some animation in there, didn't we?
Yeah, a little bit of animation. The biggest one would be puppetry, I think. This film does a lot of it. And I think it's very creative in the way it does that as well.
Yeah.
But it is carried by this central performance, which is so good and physical. Mm-hmm. Physical comedy is quite difficult.
Yeah.
But you get a sense of what this character is feeling and what is going on by maybe some inner thoughts.
Yeah.
But mostly it's facial expressions. Happening.
Yeah, it is. It's just based like a Looney Tunes cartoon, especially the beginning stuff when he's just trying to make his way in the wilderness. It feels very Wile E. Coyote. Mm-hmm. And I'm here for that. Because a lot of his plans don't work and it's quite slapstick and silly.
Yeah. I think I've seen a few people who go, I think maybe they posted it on their Instagram page, where they said, if you weren't happy about the cancellation of Coyote versus Acme, then you're going to be happy with this.
Yeah.
I am fulfilled.
I'm about to say, does this really make you feel happy seeing this? Because obviously I know you was really looking forward to that.
I think Looney Tunes is, in general, hasn't been done as well as it used to be. Especially like wartime Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
And there's Looney Tunes episodes where Bugs Bunny, for instance, won't say anything. Like the opera ones.
Yeah.
It's the music that tells the story and the stuff's happening on screen. Tom and Jerry does this a lot.
Yeah.
And
where its soundtrack is kind of pulling the story along a little bit.
Yeah, and the beats to the music are the beats that are happening in the story. This is a perfect example of it. And I think the makers of this have done stuff like this before, but not full length.
Yeah, because I can kind of see that, because sometimes it feels like it's a couple of different stories that are all been merged into one. I think, to be fair, if you wanted to, you could cut this up into kind of 30-minute segments and it would still be good and it'd still be funny and it would still make sense. But the fact that they've tied it all into one movie it still works. It's really creative. I mean, I was worried. I think maybe half an hour into this, I said to you, God, it feels like it's been going on a little bit.
Yeah.
But then the story mode completely changed. So it kept me engaged.
Okay. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Was there a turning point for you? Because I know I got a feeling from you at the start of this where you did say out loud, there's a reason that those cartoons are short, maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Did it wear thin a little bit?
Initially, because I didn't... For example, when he's struggling a little bit in the wilderness and everything's kind of working against him, I was fed up. I just kept watching. I didn't want to keep watching the same things happen again and again and again, and I kept thinking to myself, if this is going to be another like 40-50 minutes of the same types of joke, it's going to get boring. But then it completely switched it up when we got newer characters that got involved. Then he started to win and we started to see how, what's the kind of word for it, how he started to kind of trap the animals and some of the different gags around that. It completely changed it up, and that's when it really got me going, actually, you know what? I am really into this.
This is a guy, Jean Kayak.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, it stayed silly and slapstick throughout, but it changed its jokes, which I think was good.
There are some jokes throughout this that I'm a fan of a running gag. There's a guy who keeps trying to spit, like old chewing tobacco.
To a spittoon.
Yeah, and he tries to spit it into the jar, but he just always keeps missing. There's one point where he loads it into a gun, and he's got the gun next to the thing, and he still misses.
Yeah.
Gold. Here's the thing. I know for a fact, because of one of my old jobs, that those mascot costumes are ridiculous.
Yeah.
You can do anything in those and not get hurt. Anytime these mascot costumes were thrown around, I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Did you imagine someone being in it?
No, but I think one of my favourite gags that and only a few other people do is when, say, someone's in a mascot costume, and then there's a moment where a character has to throw that person around, and then fall on the floor, and then it cuts to someone in that costume in the same position on the floor, and they just get up. I love it. There's a sketch group, Auntie Donna, who have an episode called Man Beast. And it's just this guy who wants his new nickname in the office, but he just tosses people around. So he'll just grab them, and they're human, and it cuts to them throwing just a dummy around.
Oh, okay.
Right, and just things like that. But I think it's that'll always get a laugh out of me.
What was your favourite joke in this?
There's a moment we don't really get the Beavers until later on in the film, because, and I don't know if this is anything you've ever noticed, but this is a very long time before we got the actual title of the film
Yeah.
play out. Because it starts with this musical number, and then stuff happens, and he survives and stuff. But then there's a title sequence, but then there's still another gap before you get the title of the movie.
Yeah.
Loved it. But my favourite joke in this is any time that the animals were kicking the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Because I think mascots are funny.
I like the bunny segments in the beginning when he's trying to catch the bunny rabbits, and he makes a snowman of a female bunny rabbit, and the other one just comes running up to it thinking it's real, trying to propose, and then its boob falls off.
But that's Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
So I think there's an episode where someone builds like a female character to look like this is like sticks of dynamite and stuff, but the character falls for it. It might be an Elmer Fudd one or something, but it stays true to that sort of comedy.
Yeah.
I could watch it all day.
Because then we get the kind of Wile E. Coyote stuff where he's trying to what's the word? He's trying to smash trees down onto them. He's trying to use snowballs, and he tries to use bowling as a way of trying to catch these rabbits. And it just feels really, really Roadrunner. It's crazy. I liked that. Mm-hmm. I think if it had carried on like that for too long, it would have completely switched me off.
Yeah.
But it didn't. We had that with those sequences for a while, and then it completely switched on the story.
Because it's an hour and 40 minutes.
So it's a long film, really.
Without any dialogue happening, yeah, it could... There's potential for it to drag. Mm-hmm. It flew by for me.
Did it?
Yeah. But I was laughing more than you.
Yeah.
But I think that's because I'm more immature than you.
I think that's partly true.
Okay.
No, I don't. I understood that this was your humour very much, but I could still appreciate so much about this. Mm-hmm. And I could really see the love and the care that went into this as well. So
it was made on $150,000. The director has estimated that the mascot costumes themselves cost $10,000.
Jesus.
So that's 100, and it's all self-financed. It took him 4 years to raise the money for it. Mm. So, and I appreciate the grind of that. I think deep down, even if I didn't love this film, which I do, but if I didn't, I could go, that's what cinema's about. Yeah, I love that. Mm-hmm. I said this very early on. Okay. They're not similar, but I kind of got that vibe. Have you seen the Little Talks video, Monsters and Men? Of Monsters and Men, yeah. It gave me that sort of vibe. I don't know if it's because it's in black and white. Okay. Even though the Monsters and Men stuff, I think that's animated. Mm-hmm. But I think they put the band on like animated bodies, and they move in a very stop motion-y kind of way. Yeah. I kept getting glimpses of that through this. Okay. And I was like, you know what? Banging. I think just before we started recording, we watched a small like making of thing. Mm-hmm. And it was storyboarded. I think it has to be. Yeah. Because it's difficult to get those beats and the timing right. But it was all filmed. I think the outdoor stuff was filmed outdoors, but still on a small green screen. Yeah, like around the characters, and things were deposited in. There was Shutterstock footage that was used and drone footage of outdoor stuff. Mm-hmm. But it's all mixed in to make it did feel cinematic. I still think it felt and initially when it first came on, I thought no. Uh-huh. I didn't think it did, but then the more it continued on, it started to feel that way. And I think the end sequence with the beavers in the dam, that certainly did. Yeah, I appreciate the love letters to old Keaton stuff. There's a scene, for instance, where the beavers have fooled Jean Kayak into thinking he's at a shop, but then the shop is obviously a facsimile, and it just falls on him. That's supposed to Keaton, you know, it could have got killed and stuff. But the little rabbit holes as well, where the rabbits dive down, and then like there's a tunnel system under the ground. Looney Tunes like that. Yeah. Is it related though? Because you notice Easter egg quite early on. Applejack's cider farm. It says Acme. Mm-hmm. Acme Applejack on. So I thought, Acme's obviously the huge pretend company in the Looney Tunes world. Not just that, as Who Framed Roger Rabbit as well. Yeah. So we see it there. We also see it in the Animaniacs. Yeah. This company, what do they have a umbrella over everything? They really do. Everything in cartoon world
And it's probably involved in some way.
Even though there's no dialogue, not really. I think there was 2 words, and I think I counted them. One of them is pardon, and the other one is j'accuse. But even though there's no dialogue, did you feel that Jean Kayak was a character who had a start, a finish, a character arc?
They gave him a really full arc.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's also not only was this great writing, but also great actor.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a small. He's not a small guy. I think this is one of his first like big movies. Yeah, he's worked with the director before, in I think like a sketch show, and then maybe a short that's similar to this.
Mm-hmm.
But this is something else, and I would be interested to see where his career would be going next. Fuck me, he's my age. Yeah, no, this is a problem. Okay, he's going to be next seen in a film called The Revenge of Shitters. So, absolutely bang in.
So you're going to want to watch everything of his now?
Probably, I guess, yeah. But yeah, I did feel, even though he started, it's a rags to riches story.
A little bit, yeah. Even though it's not really about money.
Is it not? It's about a man who has a desire to, well, survive for one.
Yeah.
But once in the middle of the film where he finds that he wants he's found a love interest. Mm-hmm. That's his end goal. I don't want to say he gets it, but that's what he'll strive to. Yeah,
so he wants to try and impress the beaver lady.
She is weird.
Yeah, she is. I was here for it.
There's the shopkeeper who, it feels like an indie game.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Where, in like an independent game where you go, okay, you have to trade in, like Spyro and Mr. Moneybags. Mm-hmm. You need this many coins.
So many gems will get you.
Yeah, and then you'll get. He unlocks like weapons throughout. Mm-hmm. I think at the start of the film he doesn't have anything. He's just trying to survive.
Yeah.
And then he gets a club, and then he gets the rope and things like this. Mm-hmm. Works his way up, but it's quite natural in that it happens for that character anyway.
I thought this was quite good to see how big those beavers are. He's not really getting much for his money. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was like 3 of those massive beavers for a bit of rope.
We should explain as well. The beavers are
human size.
I think it's not just the beavers. It's all animals in this, apart from maybe the birds and the fish.
Yeah.
Who are puppets? Yeah.
And there's a frog, I think.
There is a frog.
A frog.
But everything else is played by men in suits.
Yeah.
And methinks it's not many suits. It's just maybe like one wolf, because I think that's maybe all they could afford, but they've just sort of...
We've got Movie Magic creating more wolves on the screen.
But again, that's what cinema's about, isn't it?
Although we do see one of the beavers get its head smashed off later on.
There must be a few where they go, okay, we've got to...
just destroy this one.
Yeah. But he uses the woods against these beavers. Every kill is creative. Mm-hmm. And I thought he's trying to figure out traps and things like this. For instance, it's like an indie game where one gets sucked into a fan, but this beaver's floating above, and then he just throws a club in there, and the club, with the wind, just hits this beaver in there.
Beaver on the head and it dies, yeah.
I also really like any time where a character dies and they have the crosses on their eyes
yeah.
to show that they're dead. Love that shit.
So the bit that you laughed at the most
yeah.
was a court scene that we have. Very random, but one of the beavers tries to give evidence and you were laughing your head off.
We should explain. Throughout this, the beavers are building a dam. Mm-hmm. So as he's trying to survive, it's in the background, but the beavers are hard at work. And I was just like, I know we're going to end up there.
Yeah.
Eventually.
And that sequence of when we do end up there feels almost like a game.
Yeah.
It feels a bit like Frogger, almost.
But it did feel a bit Wizard of Oz-esque.
Okay.
Where they were sort of guarded by these beavers going, yeah. But he finds his way in, and at this point he's killed hundreds of beavers. Mm-hmm. And the beavers know about this. He gets put on trial.
Is it Sherlock Holmes and Watson in beaver form that have been watching him, setting all these traps and killing all these animals?
But that's Python-esque.
Which was an absolute vibe, but I think it's them that give the evidence in the court.
Yeah. So they explain, like, I think they take about all these beavers, love them. But then they explain, he's killed hundreds of beavers, they did it. But then they give him a lawyer, which I thought was a baller move anyway. But then this lawyer isn't very good, and he's because he's a beaver, he's not speaking English. It's sort of like it's mumbo jumbo.
Yeah.
But he can't read the stuff. He's not a very good lawyer, and even though there's no words, you can get a sense that physicality, even in those suits, is spot on. Credit to anyone in those.
You were just giggling away. It was so cute.
It was just so funny. There was a moment where there's a shot on a wall, and it stays there for maybe about a minute.
Yeah. But
there's a big fight scene in the middle of the bar, and this shot on the wall, Jean Kayak throws a beaver, and it hits it's one of the shelves, and he gets points or whatever.
Yeah.
And it lands on the floor, and this beaver gets up, and then he's thrown again, but it's like a dummy again. It falls.
And there's more points.
Yeah, and then he goes back, and then he gets to the top shelf and stuff like that. But at this point, he's an accomplished killer. What certificate is this?
I don't know, because I don't think it's really suitable for kids.
It's a 12.
I mean, like little children.
Even though all of it is implied, mm-hmm. and it's even when like the beavers are killed, maybe like stuffing comes out of them, but there are scenes of dissection mm-hmm. That might be maybe bumping it up.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, even though again you can tell they're all teddies, mm-hmm. and it's all like it's furry. It's clearly made out of fabric. It's not for really small children. Even though it's a live action or cartoon, it's not for them.
I think they'd like it though. We've got a niece and nephew.
I don't see them watching this personally.
Oh, I do.
I think they're just a bit young for it.
Okay.
And do you think some of the slapstick in this is more for us, a bit like how Animaniacs really resonated with
our demographic?
Yeah.
Maybe. But I think that might be a case of it reminds us of the shows we used to watch when we were kids. Mm-hmm. So Tom and Jerry, Looney Tunes, all this stuff. I don't think there's any...
Would this hold a child's attention now?
I think it is slightly too long, mm-hmm. is my only gripe. But that's not a gripe that I have. It's a gripe that I would have if I was taking a child to see it. Not that I would.
No, I think it's kind of like maybe mid to late teens and older. I think I appreciate this a bit more.
But even then, I think it is a bit too long. And it like you said, it does take a while for things to really ramp up.
Yeah.
Because when it does ramp up, it ramps up maybe about halfway through the film.
Yeah.
But at the start of this, where he's like trying to survive and hunting and stuff, and he doesn't know what he's doing, it's a lot of trial and error. Mm-hmm. And I think that could get a bit boring, potentially. For
however much I loved this,
mm-hmm.
I think you could still cut 20 minutes off and you still have a banging film.
Yeah. Okay. I agree, but I love it for what it is. And what it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think it's completely ridiculous. Even if we hadn't seen it today and got ahead of it, when this got a release, I'd have searched anywhere for it. Mm-hmm. The word of mouth is something else.
Is it even bigger than kind of late night?
That would be the last example. We do have. It's kind of weird that we've had some of these films this year that have gone. That word of mouth has sort of driven them to get audiences.
But I love that. I feel like that's what movies should be.
I agree.
Especially when at the moment I think that the box office is completely dominated by sequels.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to be the only films that are really doing amazingly well.
Yeah.
It's nice to see people talking about independent films and smaller ones.
Yeah.
That are made with such love and care. And they're so creative and they're so clever.
It's interesting that little independent films, they do well, and it's mostly horror, but this is the first time that a comedy's really done it. Mm-hmm. And I think we've said on the podcast before, comedy is mostly for Netflix. It goes straight to Netflix.
Yeah. I mean, it can find some real legs on Netflix as well.
I think that's where it will find its home. If you can, guys, check out the trailer, and if it's something you think you'd be interested in, the cinema is the place to watch this, methinks. Yeah,
I would agree. And I think if this gets released around us, I think we'll be straight there.
Yeah, absolutely. But if we hadn't have seen it today, I'd have stopped at nothing to go and see it.
To have found it, yeah.
Yeah. But that's who I am.
Mm-hmm. So come on, guys, please give this some love. It really does deserve it because it's so different.
It's interesting to know that this is filmed in the USA, because I thought, yeah, of course it is, but I thought it was an Australian feature.
Why?
I don't know, it just gave me those vibes.
It gave me none of those vibes.
Okay, obviously there's snow around, so probably not Australian. But It was filmed mostly in Wisconsin, California, and Michigan. Turns out, stateside, this podcast does quite well. We get quite a few listeners over in Michigan.
We do. So...
Well, I'm not sure why, maybe what's happening, but Michigan people. Hello, thank you. But also, check this out, because it's not far from home.
Yeah, and you won't be disappointed. It's so good. Check out some of the Letterboxd reviews about it as well. The general consensus is that it's pretty fucking good.
It's very funny. I was laughing
all the way through this.
Probably, yeah. Which isn't like me.
No, not really. You have to find something really funny. How it has to catch you off guard for you to really start.
Some of this did, though.
Yeah.
Particularly the courtroom scene.
You were like, fucking hell, this is great.
But there's scenes where it does it did the Charlie Chaplin Hard Times thing, when he's going through the inner workings of the cogs and stuff. That I like any time a film sort of references stuff like that. Because it's old Hollywood, made on the cheap, perfect.
I'm glad you love this so much.
I gave it 5 stars.
So far, you think, drum roll, this is your movie of the year.
I do think,
so far.
Yeah.
And this is the guy, everybody, who's watched Late Night with the Devil 7 times this year.
We watched it again yesterday.
That was number 7.
Yep.
So the fact that you've watched that so many times and this is just straight slammed in at number 1.
I think even though Late Night is a horror and, whatever, and it's good performances, I will always... I know in the back of my mind that this AI thing that we spoke about in the Late Night episode, check it out, guys, will always be the one thing I don't like about that film. Even though it's used sparingly, and I think this is the way the industry's going, I can't get over the fact that they could have just got someone to do that artwork. This is different. This feels like this has been done with love. It's been handmade or whatever, and it's completely work of the people behind it. Hard work pays off, and I appreciate that. But it also helps that this film is an absolute banger.
Yeah.
Because I loved it. Why did you give it 3.5?
It's not my kind of humour all the way through it.
Okay.
But that's just me. That's not kind of... I don't like some of the Bugs Bunny stuff as much as maybe you do. And it does play into that quite a lot. I think probably one of the reasons I pulled it down a few was because I thought it was a bit too long for me.
Okay.
I found my attention slipping off every now and again. So some of the sequences, I think if they were trimmed just a little bit, I think it'd be bang on.
Okay.
But bearing in mind I started this off 10 minutes in thinking, it's 2 stars. To end up where I did.
Yeah.
I think that's quite an achievement, really.
It pulled you back round.
Because usually when I initially know if I don't like a film. This has surprised me, because I thought, this is terrible. This isn't for me. And then by the end of it, I'm like, yeah, I'd watch that again.
Will it make it to the Golden Biscuits for you this year?
Probably.
Okay. That's interesting.
I know what category it's falling into as well.
Which would be...
Not telling you.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise you could copy me.
Oh.
Is it going to make it in for you?
Most definitely, yes. But I'm not sure where yet, because I can't remember off the top of my head any of those categories.
Because we still have some bangers to get through so far this year. But annoyingly, the majority of them are fucking sequels.
Yeah, like even Maxine, we're seeing Maxine later today. Sequel. Deadpool's coming out. Sequel.
Twisters.
Sequel. Crap, probably also. But this feels... It's a good... Even though we watched it today on a Saturday as of recording, it's a Sunday movie.
I think it's a good Sunday movie.
Absolutely. I'd watch this again in a heartbeat. Is it better than Space Jam, though?
I think it's better than Space Jam.
Okay. Even though you scored it only half a star more than Space Jam, I think.
I've not seen.
You've not seen Space Jam.
No, I haven't seen Space Jam to put it onto Letterboxd because I was fairly new to Letterboxd last year. Yeah,
just a shout out to Letterboxd. Jade has again only started this year, but that's made its way into your maybe most used app.
It really has.
I always catch you on it, and you're not doing anything. You're just looking at stuff.
Yeah, I'm always reading to find out what people are saying, what the kind of buzz is about. I love it, and I always kind of have a look and find out what's coming out, what I might want to watch. I've always loved movies. I dare say I love movies more than you, James. Just saying.
Okay, well, you don't.
Lies.
Did this get... If it wasn't for me, would you have maybe come across this?
I probably would have come across it. Would I have watched it? No.
Okay. Are you glad you watched it?
Yeah, I am.
And that makes this relationship all worthwhile.
Just that and nothing else.
Just that and nothing else. I think it's better than Space Jam. Like I said, it's my favourite of the year. Which is weird, because my favourite of last year was Godzilla. And this is
It's not, because think of how Godzilla was made.
Yeah, similar. A small group of people.
Black and white.
Well, not at first.
No, but it's got that sort of vibe, doesn't it?
Yeah, old Hollywood.
Yeah. Practical effects.
Yeah, even late night, old Hollywood maybe.
Again, practical effects.
Practical effects.
We know what you like. We just don't like a massive CGI fest, clearly.
There were glimpses of this. You know, for instance, where the shot of the woods was in black and white, and well, all of this was in black and white. Don't let that put you off. I know some people are put off by this, but there was a scene of the woods and then the smoke kept rising, but that was centre of the thing, and I thought, that's Wes Anderson, is it not?
Yeah, it gives off a Wes Anderson vibe.
Yeah. I wonder if Wes Anderson's seen that.
If he hasn't, then he should.
Yes, absolutely. Wes Anderson, you'd love this.
This is your kind of thing.
But people who are fans of those old-timey cartoons, Tom and Jerry, any slapstick, any Buster Keaton, anything like that, it's right up your street. And if you just like seeing people dressed as beavers kicking the shit out of a man, you quid's in.
Yeah, I think it's just something it's easy to watch. Mm-hmm. It's not mindless as such as where you can watch an Avengers film.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They've got kind of like, it feels like the same kind of thing throughout.
Yeah.
This it wasn't taxing.
It felt honest.
Yeah.
Honest filmmaking, this. Yeah, and I like that. But let us know if you're going to check out Hundreds of Beavers. Please check out Hundreds of Beavers. The marketing campaign's something else as well. I showed you a bit of this.
It's really weird, but I love it.
They're just photoshopping the beavers into any old film posters.
It's the Showgirls one. I was like, wow, I'm here for that.
And it just said beavers. Yeah. Yep, a surprise episode. Season 3 just keeps getting bigger. It won't stop. And
till it's had enough.
Yeah. Is that a Michael Jackson reference?
It is indeed.
Ah! He's not in this.
Damn.
Ah! Did you just say damn? There is a damn in this.
Shut up.
Oh. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next time. Beavers.
Forever.
Beavers forever.
Beaver forever.
I'll be waiting. See you guys.
Bye.